Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm going to make another video, an unprepared video, and this is going to tag along with the one I made yesterday. Um, Today we're going to talk about something that I never planned on doing on this site, or on the videos at least. But I felt I'm trying to go with whatever I think I should discuss, and this is what I felt I should bring up. Those of you that followed my site for a while, you see a lot of things that happened to me, I wrote honestly about, and I've never got into that. A few weeks ago, some of those things that you read about me, over time, everybody realized that what you read was false testimony. Everybody realized that in the system. The prosecutor realized that. A lot of people realized there was false testimony in that. As of today, the people that were involved, as far as I understand, would admit that. Okay? There's ways we know that. Now, I never did any of that, never tried to undo any of that. This week, I went to the police station. Whenever I go to the police station, that's why you saw me mad. But I went about something else. I had a dumping charge, illegal dumping. I had a homeless friend that a mattress was given to him. And I was going to drop off the mattress in one of his little camps. The homeless people live in camps. And somebody videotaped it as illegal dumping. I saw the guy videotaping us. I wasn't hiding. There was a homeless friend. I was giving a mattress to him. And so anyway, I got a call at the house, and it said, if you pick up the stuff, you're not going to get a fine. My daughter called, so I was at the mission. I went and picked it up. Well, sure enough, they gave me a fine anyway, and then I had to go to illegal dumping court, and this is 2 years ago, year and a half ago. And I never straightened that out. I got like probation for illegal dumping, but I was mad that they told my daughter, you don't have to pay the fine if you pick up the stuff. And then they still gave me a thing. So I never settled that. And I wanted to know who lied to my kids, telling my daughter that. So I had to go to the police station to find out why did it. But at the police station, I'm never good. And so I talked to the girl. I said, look, I want to find out why y'all gave me a ticket for something. And supposedly, she saw I was mad. She said, obviously, you're very upset, sir. And she sent me to Internal Affairs on Airline Road, another building. I said, I don't need to go to Internal Affairs. I need to get... Now, she probably called them and said, look, some guy's heading your way, and he seems highly mad. Because when I got there, some building off the airline, and the door's locked, and I rang the bell, and they're like, yes, why are you here? I said, well, I was referred to come over here, and they didn't want to let me in. So they opened the door, and they could see I was mad. And I said, look, so a nice officer comes out, and he sees I'm mad. And he even says, he starts talking to me. He says, is it okay if I call you John? I guess he was going to call me Mr. Terrell. I said, all right, go ahead, you can call me John. And I told him, I said, I got problems with you guys. I said, but I'm here to resolve. I said, now when you're going to see my little thing on the dumping, you're going to pull up some other stuff. I said, I'm not here for that. So he pulled up some other stuff that you can read about me online. He made a very strange comment. He said, oh, if you're here to request us to go ahead and remove all that. Now, he wanted also information about Tommy Nichols. I said, I'm not here for any of that. I said, I'm here about a dumping thing. But he wanted to talk to me. He asked for my number. I said, you'll never get a hold of me. Nobody ever gets a hold of me. He said, well, maybe I'll leave you a message. I said, I'm done with you guys. But it was strange that he simply said, he looked at it. I don't know if they have a thing that says, well, we went forward with certain things with this guy. I don't know. That's a sense I got. There were certain incidents. A lot of my friends need to watch this. A lot of my friends think I have problems with a certain officer because John got in trouble for something he did. John has problems because John got in trouble for something he didn't do. Okay? Now I know why everything went through. I understand that. Okay? Any of you prosecutors and all, you know, the prosecutor, when I did this, I went myself, dropped my lawyer. He believed me. And at one point I said, I'm going to go ahead and just get this done. Just do what you got. He would not take me saying, go ahead and put it down as I did it. He said it would be unethical for me to do that. So I did a no contest thing. As of today, as far as I know, because of process of time, I dealt very justly, never lied in this. I had a lawyer, my lawyer, that did some lying. There were things that, techniques people use, your own lawyers use to see if you're lying or not. Later, I realized she did that with me. She realized I wasn't lying. I figured that out. One time in the case, when I was going nuts over, I was very honest in this thing. She said, one day she said, I'm waiting for a video evidence. And I said, that'll show that the girl lied. She looked at me funny. She was expecting a response like, oh, never mind, let's go ahead. She knew. I realized later that's what she did. And the lie was, she said to me, Constance Ludicky said, I don't think it's a video that. What do you mean you don't think it's a video of that? You said you're waiting for a video. That it was a video of one of the interviews. That was a lie. You don't think it was you know what the video, you did that as a test. So you knew. And I learned through this process that they all work together. And I also understand today why you allowed that to go through. I understand that. But you should never let false testimony. As of today, that stuff I went through, the other two people that were there, if I did a civil thing on them, they would say not only that the girl lied, they would say that her, and as far as I know, the mother, asked them both to lie. When I read their statements, I knew that that's what happened. They didn't want to fully lie. Now, why is John upset with a certain officer? My friends in Flower Bluff need to know this. I never gave a defense for any of this. And those of you that don't understand this, that's fine. Others that have followed my side understand what I'm talking about. But I had a friend of mine that looked up to me for many years, and like everybody, you can read false testimony of me today. You can read false testimony that this county has. Very interesting. And that'll affect you. And I never gave a defense to any of these friends of mine. But one of my friends was affected. I said, Dirk, I said, I never do this, but I'm going to tell you something. And I was mad. And as I began telling him stuff, process of things, he understood. He said, this explains a lot. Why am I angry at a certain officer? Because people think because an officer arrested John. An officer on video threatened me. I think he got rid of that video. When he came to my house, never met him. I've heard many stories about this guy for many years. Never met him. Obviously, when he came to my house, I was in shock. I was an alcoholic, and this was all admitted by me. I said, don't tell the prosecutor. I said, they understood things. But I said to this cop, I said, you're Nichols. He jumped up and down. He said words to the effect of, I'm going to destroy you. Then he began a process of following me, That was the day I realized everything I heard for many years was true. This is why John has a problem there, okay? This might clear things up. This might help in some way. I don't know if I'm going to go back to internal affairs or if they'll let me in. I just found it strange that he looked at something on a computer and then said something to the effect of, if you want to make a request for us to drop all that after the fact, let me say something. I've been suicidal for 2 years. I had 2 friends. Dirk had a dream that I shot myself or was ready to shoot myself. He was at my house one day. And he said, John, he woke up, I had the guy sleep over. And he said, I felt I should tell this to you. He knew it was me that he dreamed about. Guy was in his back room with the thing on his head. And I was in my back room. I was writing a post. Not too long ago, John Montgomery, a few months ago, another friend, said, John, I had a dream that you shot yourself in the head at Timmins. Now, these were warnings to me that that's a danger. Much of it has to do with a lot of what I'm talking about. Some will know, some will not know. When I talk about the system, I never pled, when you're blackout drunk, it's hard to, you learn over time. There were things we learned as a process of time. As far as I know today, not only would the people say that they lied, they would admit that others asked them to lie. There's questions I have why a lot of this went through. And maybe the system works where if they know that there were lies about the actual thing that you got on you, which affects you, maybe they wait for you to go back and say, oh, can you please remove it? Did you ask them, John? I used the F word that day I was there. Today I do this. Some of you will understand what I'm doing here. I never am going to discuss these things. But it was helpful for my friend to see. Many of my friends that I work with, they think I have a problem with an officer. You see now what the problem is. Okay? I did this for your benefit. Things happen to us. And sometimes things happen for various reasons. On this side and on the things you see me write about, I will never lie to you. And in the process of what I went through, there were things that you could tell that I did not lie. Remember, my lawyer asked my wife. She said, what did your husband say when he called you home that day? Did he deny? She said to the lawyer, no. He said he was blackout drunk, which I was. Now later we found out things. And he said, I don't know. To play it safe for the benefit of the accuser, I said on Facebook, I said, sometimes when people are drunk, they do things that they don't know. And I said, I don't remember, dear, but I'm so sorry. They knew that I was apologizing for something that I didn't do. Very amazing, isn't that? And over time, people knew the people. They knew. My daughter had mutual friends. They said she lied. We learned. We learned. And I was mad because I already was, I apologized now. People knew. People knew. So you live with that. You live with seeing people that read stuff about you. I have friends that get off on things that they did. And so this might help some of my friends. I'm going to title this, All My Bluff Friends Watch This. So this will be the second video. I'm not going to go long. Some of you don't understand, some of you do. It would be better to be accused of something you didn't do in the sight of God. Peter says, It's better in the Epistle of Peter, it's better that you suffer for something that you did not do than to suffer for something that you did do. And I never pled complete innocence when you're blackout drunk. How could you? But the charge was a lie. So it's better to suffer for. So, do I still struggle with suicide? Yes, I do. Very honest with you guys. It's better now. I was very mad when that officer, who I did say shook his hand at the end, looked flippantly at the screen and said, "Oh, if you would like to make a request for us to remove all that." So you're going to let, there's some false testimony stood, you're going to let it stand until I make a request? I don't think I'm going to make a request. This is how I read it. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that you got to make a request. If you know that people lied, you shouldn't have gone through with the process in the first place. So, today, I'm not as mad as yesterday. I never make these things to defend myself. I felt God said this is going to benefit some of my friends.